Good evening. My name is Katherine Flores, and today I will share my story of leaving El Salvador. I was only 12 years old, but I remember it as if it was yesterday. I didn't know we were leaving, and to be honest, I didn't have an American dream. America wasn't even in my dreams. So when I found out, I didn't have time to say goodbye to anybody except for my best friend. So within 2 days of finding out, I packed my memories in a small blue backpack and I was dragged out of the country. Salvadoran immigrants like me are known as tres veces mojados because we are soaked in water by 3 different rivers, 3 different frontiers. You see, to get here from El Salvador, you cannot just fly, you have to walk. So thus my mom and I, we started our journey through the 3 frontiers. To explain every step I took to get here will fill an entire book. So for Guatemala, I'll just say this. It was a blur of strangers and dark hideouts. And for Mexico, it was piling up in cars for days on end. Salvadorans stuck on top of each other because we couldn't fit. Thank you. Sometimes I lose my words and I cannot explain this whole story. But I remember this one car ride. I was sleeping on my mom's laps and suddenly the car stopped. I felt my mom's hands on my back, which woke me up. The car had stopped. She opened the door and she threw me out of the car. The police had found out we were in that car. It was hectic. It was like ants running directionless after being splashed with hot water. I remember my mom helping me cross this fence that divided the road from the safe place. Her bare hands grabbed the barbed wire, making enough space for me to cross. As I waited for her to cross, another mother was helping her daughter, a much smaller daughter, a 3-year-old girl, tiny enough for her mom to throw over the fence. As I saw the little girl land on the grass, my mom had already taken my hand and started running, dragging me across the grass. My legs too thin and too weak to run on my own. We then jumped into a pit where we waited and waited. Underneath the dirt and grass, we could hear steps. We could hear voices. We could hear each other's heartbeat. I had nothing to hold on to except my mother's hands and the many prayers we made. There was nothing we could do except pray and hope that those steps were the coyotes, which was the person that helps to cross immigrants across the border, and not the Mexican police officers. With scratches on my face and back and my mom's bruised hands, we made it out. And within a few days, we crossed our last river, our last frontier. Once I stepped into the US, I was thrown from facility to facility. From the cages you see on TV, La Perrera, where they provided nothing but aluminum foil to cover, and then ICE Family Detention Center in Texas, where we fought for our case. After I arrived in Charlottesville, it did not feel like the US I had heard of. I would look outside my aunt's trailer home, see the batches on the street and the uneven pavement. The only difference was that surrounding me were no longer mango and paterna trees. It was oak and pine trees. And my mother tongue was tied. She was no longer the one speaking. And every time I tried to fool myself to think that the US was my home, I would look at my mom and see her crushed and vulnerable for the first time. And I'll realize the US was not my home. It was my refuge. From leaving El Salvador, my childhood home, which had been given to the coyote as a payment, to arriving to Charlottesville with nothing but a trash bag filled with clothes and immigration papers. I remember the 12-year-old me who thought that one day she could go back and visit all the people she never got to say goodbye to. And I was welcomed with an asylum that said, "You don't get to see El Salvador for 12 more years." I lost my home. El Salvador became the box I checked when asked about my nationality. I felt a vagrant, stripped of any feeling of familiarity and belonging. That's when I started to question myself. What's home to me? Well, in El Salvador, home felt like rocking back and forth in a hammock while I told my mom about my day at school and ate freshly caught guavas. In Guatemala, home felt like falling asleep on my mom's arms, having a tamarind tree as our roof, and waking up in the morning covered in small yellow flowers that had fallen from the tree overnight. In Mexico, home felt like my mom guiding me through the desert with nothing but the stars to light up the way. And here in the US, home feels like having my mom sit within the community that has never left my side. Because after all, my mom was my first community. She is my first home. Thank you.